What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, and if you haven't noticed, I have my buddy Jamie Slays doing some specialized heavy metal lessons here at the channel. We got another one. He's going to show some awesome Metallica techniques. Whatever you want to learn the heavy metal style, let us know in the comments below. And Jamie, take it away.
Hey everyone, it's Jamie from the Jamie Slays YouTube channel, here again at Marty Schwartz's YouTube channel to teach you 5 guitar techniques to help you master any Metallica song. Let's get into it. You know when you're trying to learn a Metallica song and you're feeling like, this doesn't quite feel right, doesn't quite sound right, I'm not sure if I'm using the right tone, am I using the right pick, what string gauge? Most of the time it's actually the technique and the style of how you play it that makes the biggest difference. So I'm going to show you 5 techniques and we're going to get over that slump together. The first technique I'm going to show you is power chords. So if you're a new guitarist, power chords might be something you've never heard of before. But if you're a seasoned veteran and you just want to learn some Metallica, you probably know what they are. But power chords are where you hold the first note and the third note of a scale. You can do so either with your index and your ring finger or your index and your pinky finger, and you make a chord like so. But the reason why you need to learn them from Metallica is because pretty much every song they've written has power chords in it. It's something that you really want to hone in on. Something that you need to really focus on is how hard you press down on the string. If you don't hold it hard enough, it will sound a bit kind of loose and flubby. Or you'll get this sound. If your fingers are in the way, you'll get that sound. I tend to do it with my pinky because that's how James does it, and I think I just subconsciously learned it, but I also do it with my ring finger too. But again, make sure you press down really hard. Good way to practice it is just to go up the neck. Or even like this. But what you will notice subconsciously is that when you go from each string, or each fret even, you kind of slide and lock into place behind the fret. Now I'm just going to show you a riff that has power chords in that you can learn. The best one, I think, is the main part of Enter Sandman, but just the ending part, like so. We also have Creeping Death. My fingers tend to be in a bit of a weird position when I do that, so it does look like I'm holding some weird bar chord, but if I move them out of the way, it's just this. Again, if you do it with your ring finger, you'll notice there that I'm keeping my pinky or ring finger held down and lifting the main finger when you're doing open frets, so like this. You can do it like this, but you don't need to, it's easier just to do that. So the next technique that you're really going to have to master when playing Metallica is palm muting. Palm muting is a technique you'll find yourself using a lot when playing Metallica riffs, but specifically when playing pretty much any metal genre. And it's when you hear a chord like this. It's called palm muting because simply you are muting it with the palm of your hand. So not really the whole palm, but the kind of chunky bit, the meaty bit of your wrist. So when your hand is on this side, you put the palm bit close like this, and then it chokes off the note slightly and makes it sound really different. When you know you've got it right, you'll hear a purr like this. Rings out a little bit, and that's the perfect sound you want for when you're playing palm muting. So work on that, play some chords. A good thing I would recommend is going from palm muting to not palm muting, so Master of Puppets is a good one for that. Here's a good example of a Metallica palm muting section. Remember, use the meaty part of your palm, rest it as close as you can to the bridge edge here. As I said earlier, you want the purr, so you want it to last as long as you can. If you have it too close to here, You see it chokes itself off. Back a bit, not so much. And when you put your palm here and then tilt your hand in, that's palm muting. So a good riff to showcase that is the intro to Creeping Death. Reason why I'm showing that one is because you have to go from palm mutes to open chords like so. Same with the main riff. You have to palm mute the open E's on the low string. Remember, keep the palm as kind of close to the meaty part as you can, and you'll get your palm mutes sounding heavy as F in no time. So the next technique I'm going to showcase is chugging riffs. Now, chugging riffs sound like this. Chugging, like Ola England explains, is this. It can be technically, but really chugging is. It is for me anyway. So things like Creeping Death again. It's playing a note whilst palm muting, and it gives that kind of chugga 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 feel. Again, it's kind of like combining palm muting and power chords together, getting some synergy. Keep your hand in a good place, and then make sure you don't choke it off too much so you get a perfect sound. Again, you'll get the perfect purr when you know it's done right. Another one, A Wolf and Man. Now that's not strictly chugging, but when it goes like this, you could say that was sort of chugging because there's power chords and there's palm muting involved. The chugging riff, I believe, will be a good way to achieve that technique with Metallica, is For Whom the Bell Tolls. So here is the riff that I think you should learn. Like I said earlier, chugging is giving that kind of purring, palm muted sound that I talked about in the previous section, but specifically with notes and chords as well. You can do it like this. That counts as chugging technically, but a more specific example again is that kind of thing. Or one thing to focus on is that you are kind of combining the palm muting section and the power chord section together to get the element of chugging in the best way possible. Make sure that you don't completely choke the notes off. Again, that doesn't work if you have your hand too far forward, so move it back. Because if we weren't doing that, you would hear this. And there's nothing wrong with that. It does add variety if you have one riff unchugged and the other riff chugged, like that, for example. If you had, or if you had, they both are the same riff, but they sound different because you're adding variety by chugging that section. So again, the best reason to focus on this is because you want everything to sound super tight, super thrash metal, and super articulate. Again, James is basically a drummer that plays guitar, so he likes to focus on rhythm quite a lot, especially in things like Battery. Make sure it's super tight, super fast, and super accurate, and it will sound great in no time. Now, the next technique is called stabs. Power chord stabs, or staccato power chords, or chokes, whatever you want to call them. They kind of replicate the cymbal choke. You know, where Lars goes like that. It's kind of the same thing, but James does it on a guitar. James is technically a drummer at heart. A good example is in Master of Puppets, where it goes, Master, it's like this. Same with Battery. A stab, as I see it, is like this. It's where you rest, but then you also choke off the string with your hand. You might have to practice it slowly because, again, it's something that is a little bit more advanced. Kind of like that as well, but it's specifically with chords. The reason why they are good to do in Metallica songs is because they do them a lot. Blackened as well. And it's a good way to make the song sound more aggressive, more thrashy, more punky, all that kind of stuff. Good riffs to showcase it. Master of Puppets probably. Or again, Blackened. Make sure that you stop the noise from this hand, because essentially you're doing this. But you're doing it quickly. So instead of you're doing this. If I maybe turn to the side, you could possibly see it a bit better. Essentially, you just want to stop the note as quick as you can. As soon as you get that down, you'll be mastering Metallica songs in no time. Obviously, I'm going to leave the best till last. Down picking. Now, you may have seen throughout this whole video, most of the stuff I do is down picked anyway, except for that. I try and downpick all the time. If you're playing metal, it's definitely, in my opinion, better for the articulation and the sound and the punchiness of the pick if you downpick. But you don't have to, you can alternate. But again, if you're playing Metallica, it's kind of a rule of thumb, you have to. Downpicking is where you only play downstrokes, no ups and no alternates, except again if you're doing gallopy things. That doesn't count. But we're only looking at downpicking here, so. That kind of stuff. Downpicking is key if you're playing Metallica, especially Master of Puppets, because we all know the rule is it has to all be played downpicked the way that they initially intended it to be done. James Hetfield is the master of downpicking. He tends to hold his pick with two fingers like this. He says it gives him a bit more grip. I don't really like doing it that way. I tend to just use thicker picks because it's easier to hold on. The reason why emphasizing downpicking is key, especially for Metallica, is that's the way they wanted it to sound. But in thrash metal and faster metal genres in general, it's better to have more articulation, more pick attack, and a kind of heavier, thrashier, punchier sound. If I was to play this, sounds alright. But if you downpick it and give it some kind of chugging, riffing hand, it just gives it a bit more attack, gives you more volume, gives you more velocity in the sound itself when you're recording, and it helps you get more out of your amp if you kind of pick attack more. I learned to play mostly sat acoustically like this whilst watching the TV with my parents, and I felt like doing that made me play better downpicks because I could hear it better. So maybe you should try that too. Try it with headphones, try recording yourself, try filming it and watching it back just to get tips. Downpicking, I find with Metallica stuff, it's easier if you put your hand in the palm of your position, kind of like the OK sign that James likes to do, and then make sure your pick is kind of angled down that way, more like 45 degrees. Again, if you do the Benson technique, which is where you point up this way, that's also fine, but I do find I hit my thumb a lot with that one, so I'd always kind of poke it down in a kind of 45 degree OK, you know, the OK sign angle. I tend to always downpick even if I'm playing slowly as well. I just find it sounds better for me personally, and I subconsciously just go straight to downpicking. I didn't really learn alternate pick kind of stuff, even with For Whom the Bell Tolls. I used to downpick that too until my friend was like, you could probably alternate it. But horses for courses, it doesn't have to be done a certain way, there is no right way. Good riff to showcase downpicking is, of course, Master of Puppets, maybe the intro riff, like so. This riff does encompass a lot of the techniques I've gone through, but specifically we're looking at down picking. So again, with down picking, you want to make sure your hand is in the palm muting position, but you don't have to be palm muting. And then you angle in your thumb and your finger, kind of like James does. You can tuck your hand in completely if you want, but I tend to keep my thumb and finger out like this. You can also do it where you hold your pick like this, if that helps. Some people do it the James way, where he uses 2 fingers. Some people do it, I think it's called the Benson grip, where you put your thumb up like this. That's how Ola does it. He's famous for doing that. But as you notice, when I do it that way, it changes the tone slightly, because when you have it that way, it's closer to the neck pickup, so it's a bit warmer. But if you tuck it in like this, it's a bit more attack, and there's more angle from the pick pointing this way. Try and pick as most as you can from your wrist, not your elbow. So you don't want to be doing this, because you might get fatigued quite quickly. So the way I do it is like this again. Most of the movement, if all of it, is coming from the wrist area. And like with most things, the faster you get at doing it, the less movement you should see. So down picking, yes. You can do it slowly as well if you're doing things like Caribbean Deaf. Try and keep your hand in the same position and tuck it in like this. But even things like from the bell tolls, if you alternate it, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It just, for me, sounds different. And because I can play it down picked, I will, until I physically can't anymore. And then I will have to do things like alternates. Like, I'm pretty much down picked most of that, except for the alternate kind of heard to 16th note bit. There you have it. That's down picking. Obviously, Metallica fans say Master Puppets has to be down picked, but it doesn't have to be. If it means you can't play the song all the way through, maybe you should just alternate here and there. But yeah, down picking is kind of key for Metallica. So there you have it. That was 5 techniques that all metal guitarists should know in order to master any Metallica song. What did you think? Really enjoyed that one. I'm going to do part 2 as well. Maybe we'll do Kirk Hammett, or we'll do part 2 of rhythm techniques. If you're interested and you're up for the challenge, I, Jamie Slays, have made my own course on courses.jamieslays.com, which is 10 riffs, Metallica riffs specifically for beginners, Metallica made easy, bite-sized stuff I go through with PDFs, Guitar Pro tabs, slowed down versions, backing tracks, videos just like these where I go through each song. It's snippets of each song, so you actually learn the riff that I prefer the most from that song, not the whole song, so it's a little bit more achievable. Let me know in the comment section below if you check it out. Really appreciate it. Also check out my sweatbands, they are on jamieslays.com. Thank you again to Marty and his team for having me on the channel. Like the video if you enjoyed it, because then we'll make more like this one, and comment down below to let us know what you want to see more metal techniques of. Again, check out my course on courses.jamieslays.com. There's free trial as well, so you get the first lesson for free, and then it's a paid amount afterwards. You get 10 songs and there's loads of stuff included. Thank you again, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to Marty's channel, because he posts new videos all the time. If you love metal and all things Metallica, head on over to jamieslays.com and youtube.com/jamieslays. Subscribe to my channel also, because I post content just like this over there too. Thank you again, and I'll see you guys very soon for some more metal riff technique videos.
All right, thank you, Jamie, for doing another awesome metal lesson here at the channel. Also, he has a whole new course of heavy metal techniques like this, so check it out, follow his channel, and check the link below. Thanks again, Jamie. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you later.